Hello, and welcome to Gas It Out, whether you are listening to us sitting, lying back on a beach, sipping on Neil Hodgson's favourite drink, the Piña Colada, or maybe you're battling the summer traffic on your way down to a packed campsite. Maybe you're trying at home to manage 3 kids that are off school. Let me give you a little bit of advice. Don't put this podcast on speakerphone. It is not the answer, I am sorry to say. You've got another 6 weeks of it. Welcome along anyway, though, because this is a broad church and God loves a trier anyway. Wherever you are, thank you for bringing us into your ears, into your environment. I've even dressed for the occasion, got the palm trees on the T-shirt. It can mean only one thing. It is the MotoGP summer break. And I am joined by, sat in the sunshine, I don't believe it, that I can see sunshine through the window of Neil Hodgson's house on the Isle of Man. What is going on? Are you sure? You're in Spain, aren't you? There's no way you're in the Isle of Man.
It's front page news, Gav. All the locals are pointing up to the sky going, what is this yellow thing? It's really hot. So, yeah.
As it burns through their pale skin.
Absolutely gorgeous here. I've not seen a cloud since I've been here. Been here just over a week. I'm literally looking out now over Douglas Bay and it's like a mill pond. Gorgeous. There is no better place than the Isle of Man when the sun shines.
Absolutely. And Sylvain, last time we spoke to you, you were regaling us with stories of Wimbledon. Obviously, you've been at the glamour of Suzuka. What's the latest? Have you been meeting the king? Been at Formula One? Because that's a step above that, obviously. What have you been up to? Anything fancy this week?
Yeah, actually, I was down in Marlow near London with Caroline a couple of days ago. We went.
They're out in Marlow.
We went to see our friends from Ugly & Co. You know Ugly & Co. That they're based in Marlow, the clothing brand, and they've obviously so Al, Tui, and the family there. They've helped us a lot, with the charity caps, the Luca charity caps, and so we went there to see them, presenting them with this is coming soon, so I'm not going to spoil it, but we presented them with the charity check and stuff, because they raise. I mean, it's insane. They raise so much money with those caps. It's unbelievable.
We'll save that then for a big reveal.
So yeah, we'll save that for later. So we had a good time there. We stayed at Hands and Flowers. It's like a B&B Michelin star place.
I've seen enough TV programs. I've seen MasterChef and the like. I know what the Hands and Flowers is. Hanging out with Tom Kerridge. Yeah.
That's it, and that place is beautiful. So we had a great time. By the way, if you're in the area, go and check it out because it's pretty special.
There it is.
So yeah, we've had
if I'm in the area, bit of a holiday. There's no way. I'll be looking for the Weatherspoons.
We can't afford that, Sylvain.
I was having pie and peas at the local social club at the weekend.
Love that. Hey,
we had burgers one night. There's a burger place as well. It's called what is it called? Burgers. I forgot the name of it.
Burgers and Flowers.
Oh, brain fade. It's Burger and Tap. Burger. I'm gonna have a look at it and I'll tell you. So we went there because Ugly & Co has got like a burger, like a special burger they're like, it's like the burger of the month. So we tried that. It was like the biggest burger ever. Loved it. Yeah, so it was nice.
We like a burger.
Great time.
How's it compare to the ones we get in Austin? Because some of those.
We talked about that because it's a special burger place. They do loads of different burgers, and obviously the burgers in Austin, they are difficult to beat, aren't they? We go out every night in Austin to get some burgers.
Hot Doddies.
And it was close, like very, very close. So we had a good time. And we weren't left hungry, so we loved it. Yeah.
Hey Neil, I was thinking about what you might have been doing. You find the name of that, Sylvain. I was sort of thinking, because I know how I've been feeling after 11 races, obviously in the summer break. I know you, having had your holiday in Mallorca. Have you spent the last week in the gym, trying to work off the excesses of the first half of the season, or has it been bringing the handicap down?
It's been mainly the gym, believe it or not, just trying to be healthy, no alcohol, eating clean. I've actually been mountain biking again. The reality of life on the road, we love it, obviously. It's what we've done, what feels like forever. But it's probably not the best thing for your liver, is it, Gav? So
No.
it's actually nice just to be home, know that I've got no travel coming up, and be able to control what you eat, what you do. So spending some time with the kids, a little bit of golf, but just generally, getting back on the program, and I feel better already.
Same here, but then I had a few people over on Saturday and I did a full brisket. Talking of Austin, I smoked a full brisket on the barbecue and it was so good. It honestly, it wasn't as good as anything in Austin, obviously, but I got a big old thing. We had loads of people over and but obviously because it takes so long to cook 12. Well, you're not a man.
I know. I'm just saying, just moving forward at any point.
Michelin star restaurants. You're on the Isle of Man rather than me, like trawling out some average barbecue food. But anyway, I wanted to sort of delve into a little bit of the news that's been going on in MotoGP. But being the summer break, it's pretty barren, is it, at the moment? Pecco Bagnaia has had arm pump surgery. I don't know whether we read much more into that other than he's trying to find an excuse not to do some training while he's got a new baby. But I don't think we can read too much into it, can we?
No.
On that side of things.
Just straightforward. There's such a lovely break now, having 3 full weekends off, and then Silverstone, then 2 weekends off. Now is the right time to do anything like that. But
the biggest story, obviously, is finally official now. 2021 world champion Fabio Quartararo, official that he's joining HRC. David Alonso as well joining HRC. It was very vague about where David will be riding. He's an HRC rider. But Sylvain, can I come to you just on Fabio? As a fellow Frenchman, he is the pride of France. He's elevated MotoGP to a different level, obviously, in France since he won that championship. Oh, well, how do you read it? I don't know if we've really had that much chance to in the podcast to get into it. Oh, by the way, I want to say to everyone, we have got your questions coming up in this episode, so we are going to get to those in a second. But in terms of Fabio and his move to Honda, how do you read it? Is it a big move, a great move, or is it out of the frying pan and into the fire?
Well, I think the first thing that comes to mind is sort of run out of patience. He's run out of time with Yamaha. He feels like he has to move somewhere else. He feels like he did give them a chance to get the project going and to see some improvements, to see some hope for the future. And obviously we've got this big, shake up with the new rules next year, but you feel like he needed some fresh air. He needed to go somewhere else and start a new challenge. I think he felt a bit exhausted of the project, maybe not going as well as he wanted to. And you can see that. You can see his frustration. Every weekend we see him, looking down at the bike and getting angry and not getting what he wants from the bike. So yeah, I think it's going to be exciting. It's all this is all going to be now on how good the Honda is, because we know how good Fabio is. Fabio is one of the very special riders. There is no doubt about that in my mind. And I'm not saying that because he's French. I'm saying it because I genuinely mean it. He's one of the special ones. You've got Marc Marquez, you've got Pedro Acosta. At the moment, you've got Augura as well. That is coming into that sort of level. And you've got Fabio Quartararo. He's one of the special ones. So I think it's going to be very exciting. And I hope that the Honda is good. Imagine if the Honda is not as good as the Yamaha next year, because we don't know. We can sort of second guess, but we don't know that yet. We don't know which bike is going to come out on top, which bike is going to be the best to start with, and which manufacturer is going to get it right straight away. I mean, that's so exciting because we got such a big shake-up with the rules.
Yeah, what do you think? What do you think about it, Neil?
I think. Go on.
Yeah, just because of, I mean, we've just learned, we know over the summer break, Honda have gone back to Category D in terms of concessions. So they've whereas they were going forwards at the end of last year,
they've gone
back.
Yeah,
effectively they've gone backwards this year. Yes, I'm sure a lot of the focus now has switched to 2027. I'm sure that's part of it. So much so that Taka Nakagami hasn't been given the job of standing in for Johann Zarco. But it's still is it a dangerous move for Fabio if he wants to be? When you think of the likes of Joan Mir doing shall we say, a logical thing of just getting on a Ducati, doing anything he can to get on a Ducati. What's your thoughts on it?
I think, being totally honest, I think it's a good move. I think Honda are definitely moving in the right direction, even though that what you've just said makes it sound like they're not. But like you said, I totally agree. All their focus is on the 28 bike. So I think it's a good move. What might be tricky, the next 2 seasons might not be great. And I think that's going to be a shock to the system. If the bike's not quite competitive, can you imagine Fabio if he gets...
I'm just thinking of the patience.
Exactly. He signed a 2-year deal and then he'd be like, I can't believe this is happening. We're still not there. Are we going to see, obviously this is all hypothetical, but are we going to see Fabio do a Marc Marquez or do a Joan Mir, where you go, oh my God, I've had 5 years or 6 years on the Yamaha, and obviously it started to lose a lot of form and performance. I've signed for Honda, it hadn't quite worked. So there is the potential of that, but I believe in Honda. I do. I've given them a hard time over the years, but they appear to be throwing the kitchen sink at it. They must be able to get it right. We know, being in the paddock, they've poached a lot of the Italian talent, from engineers to team managers to whoever, you know what I mean? So you look at Albeziano, obviously from Aprilia. What's Albeziano's title now? What's he?
Technical director?
Technical director, he's your Gigi Delinia, then obviously of Honda. So he knows exactly what they did at Aprilia. If you think about it, it's always the steps. It's not when you see the step finally come, the final step, and the bike's great, but that starts years before. So I've gone a long way about answering the question, but I truly believe that Honda will get there. And like Sylvain said, Fabio is one of the special riders. What defines a special rider? Well, all MotoGP riders are special, but some of them have got that extra je ne sais quoi. That extra little
Definitely
bit.
got that off ChatGPT.
And where you see someone like Fabio, where's the proof of that? Well, when he joined MotoGP, he was fast straight away, incredibly fast. In fact, he's never been slow. The only thing that happened on his side was the bike became not the bike to be on, but he still pretty much outperforms people. All his teammates, anyone on the Yamaha, when he wants to, that's what we're seeing now. We understand, you can see he's losing interest at a rapid rate, but he's definitely a special rider. So I'm excited about the signing, and David Alonso, wherever they put him. I mean, they've got some talented riders there now with, obviously, they've got Diogo Moreira, David Alonso, Quartararo, and I don't know what's going to happen with Zarco, do we? But if you sort of feel like you can't imagine him being 100% fit for next year.
No, you can't, can you? But you talk about special riders. David Alonso feels like he falls into that category. It's that... You tried to put your finger on it, Neil. I think that's right, that he outperforms all the other Yamaha riders in terms of Fabio Quartararo. He's had a couple of second row starts this year. That shouldn't really be happening, should it? I know Jack Miller's made it through to Q2. Alex Rins has done that. But then Fabio backs it up, and in the race, you see him battling. David Alonso, and let's not forget, Fabio Quartararo won Moto2 win. He had a second one that was taken away from him in Japan because of, was it airbox or something like that? Tire pressure. Tire pressure, wasn't it, at the time? But David Alonso feels like that special kind of talent, doesn't he, Sylvain?
Yeah. It's the same as those very special riders that we've seen coming through the ranks. The ones that we see now, Massimo Chiles, David Alonso, these guys, the Pedro Acostas, Marc Marquez, these guys, they've shown from a really young age and from the smaller categories that there is like something really special about them. So Alonso, I think that's a great prospect and a great signing for Honda. I do feel like, I don't see why they would put him alongside Fabio Quartararo in the HRC team. For the only reason why is because you've got Diogo Moreira that is doing such a good rookie season at RCR. I think he deserves to be moved up to the HRC team, and probably David Alonso having 1 year with still full factory support and full factory bike, but at LCR. So I saw as well in the press release that it doesn't say where David Alonso is going to go. So it just says that he's an HRC rider. So probably,
which Moreira is as well.
It's a possibility. So they can shuffle them around, and that's probably all sort of pre-wrote in their contracts. They get wherever they've been put, but Honda HRC's got the option to do that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to see him as well. I mean, the transition as well now for next year from Moto2 to MotoGP. Well, essentially, you're going to get a bike that is going to be very similar. You're going to get a prototype chassis like they have in Moto2. You're getting a much faster engine and the carbon brakes, but the tires are going to be the same or very, very similar. There's not going to be any ride-out devices, so the transition there is going to be a lot more seamless. And I think it will help the new rookies coming from Moto2 or from World Superbikes. Hopefully, we're going to get Bulega as well to adapt really quickly and be competitive very quickly, despite the lack of testing or they've got very little days and they're trying to reduce that on there even more. So I think they will transition much quicker, and Alonso could very quickly become one of the good guys again. That's gonna the big question mark there is how good is going to be the Honda versus the Ducati and the Aprilia that we understand in Brno at that first test with the 850s. The Aprilia and the Ducati was already a little bit ahead of the Japanese bikes and the KTM.
Hey, I tell you what, and I know we're well aware of this, that Bulega's doing the testing for the 850. What a strong position he's going to be in at the start of this next season. He's going to be riding for VR46. He is going to have done
not confirmed, by the way.
Laps.
Just there'll be people thinking, oh, maybe it's been confirmed. It hasn't been confirmed yet, but we have it on good knowledge now, pretty much that is happening.
Yeah, it sounds like it's 95% done, doesn't it? So imagine that. Like, not only has he got, let's say, 1,000 laps under his belt, everything Sylvain just said confirms that it's going to make jumping to a MotoGP bike much easier. Plus, and this is the best bit, essentially he's developed the bike for his riding style. Think how Bulega rides a superbike. He rides it in a particular way, unlike anyone else. He's so smooth. He's very Lorenzo-esque, isn't he, how he rides a bike? Wheels in line, sits really far back in the braking zones. All his comments are going to steer the bike in his direction. So he could be a proper dark horse for next year.
There was a test in Barcelona a week ago, by the time that you're getting this, and basically, the talk out of it is that he was 3/4 of a second quicker than anybody else in that test. Yeah. And then he will actually get those extra rookie days at the start of next year.
Yeah.
So he will have more time on that bike than anybody else. He's going to be it's going to be fascinating. He knows all the circuits. It's not like Top Rack where he's coming across and he hasn't got a clue. He's been to all these circuits numerous times.
I think it's the highlights of that test, though, has got to be, Bulega did all right, but the highlight has got to be Max Biaggi being within 5 seconds of him. I thought that was quite cool. So Max Biaggi was at that test not with a MotoGP bike, with they've got like some kind of special edition bike. Is it the X bike or something like that? It's called.
Yeah, it looks cool.
He was within 5 seconds.
It's the new. Yeah. It's their new what do you call it? A limited edition motorcycle. The one we saw.
It looks unreal.
That's it. Yeah. So you had Bulega in 1:39 and Max did a 1:44. So 5 seconds. I thought that's pretty decent for
never slow.
Max has been retired for many years. He retired in 2013 at the end of 13. So yeah, I thought that was quite good.
56 years old. But if you look at him, he doesn't
5 seconds off.
He's not aged,
not
does
bad.
he? He's still.
He hasn't aged.
Lean.
His hair's grown back, which I find amazing.
All of the above.
But in that test, Bulega did a 1:39.2. It's about a couple of seconds behind where you'd be this year on a MotoGP bike. So that's not bad around Barcelona, considering probably quite a lot hotter conditions in the summer. Pedrosa, in theory, was 3/4 of a second behind on the KTM. Nakagami, 0.8 behind on the Honda. And on the Aprilia, 0.9 behind for Lorenzo Savadori. You've got to take the Savadori equation into the equation as well. So, but it looks like Ducati that maybe that little step ahead. Maybe they've been doing a little bit more behind the scenes than we'd like to.
Nearly so right there. with the Bulega and the testing experience and the Pirelli experience that he's been riding World Superbikes at the top for many years now, and he's sort of like on top of his game. Obviously, Leclerc has stopped his run of 20 plus victories in a row in World Superbikes in Donington recently, but he is literally flying with those World Superbike specs. And as we know, the lap times, the pace that they've got in World Superbikes, because the bikes are so evolved, is very close to MotoGP actually. So for him, giving the data back, the engineers of setting the bike up and adapting to his riding style, like I said, he's sitting far back on the, that was the top rack thing at the time at BMW. That's how he was able to brake so hard with the Pirellis, make the most of it. So he's already got like all the sort of like the position, the body position adjustments, the feel from the tires. And those MotoGP tires from Pirelli next year, they're going to be very close to what is happening at the moment. It's probably going to be development going on, but the DNA and the feel of the tires is going to remain the same. They're not going to suddenly decide to produce completely different spec of tires with different carcasses and compounds or whatever. They're going to keep what they've got and maybe tweak it a bit. So yeah, massive advantage for Bulega to be doing that. Not only for testing the bike, but also for all the background experience that he's got with Pirelli. So yeah, definitely. I mean, you put him on a good Ducati at VR46 and he could be fighting for wins straight away. So you're looking forward to see what he can do.
Effectively, he's on a MotoGP bike anyway, isn't he? In the World Superbike, that's what it is. There was a little bit. There was a little. Yeah, I know. There was a little bit of news. Obviously, Pirelli said they're going to keep the tyre pressure rules for next year. I've heard people get hot under the collar about it. I won't worry about it too much.
They have it in World Superbikes.
Exactly.
It exists in World Superbikes, but it's not a problem. The problem of the MotoGP. The problem that we have in MotoGP because of the tire pressures is one, because the Michelin front does not work well when there is more than 2.1, 2.2 bars in the front. So that's the main problem. And then the second problem is the ride height devices that are generating too much heat and too much transfer onto the front tire, overloading it, and then making that temperature and pressure going up. So I don't think the problem will be there in MotoGP. Even though we've got a bit more aero than World Superbikes, you got to remember, World Superbikes, they still have wings, they still have the ground effect, the Ducati has. And I don't think it will be a problem. And that rule, that tire pressure rule exists in World Superbikes. It's never even talked about, is it? Because they don't have the issue. It's just for us, unfortunately, at the moment. Yeah. So hopefully that would not be an issue.
Hopefully not for much longer either. Right. When we come back, talking of 850s, we've got some questions that have come in from you guys over the first half of this season. Reese Davis, we've got one about you, about the 850cc bikes and how they're going to sound. We'll get into your questions when we come back from the break. Welcome back to Gas It Out. I hope you're enjoying another beer down by the pool. Or Neil, what would you be ordering if you were out there back again in Mallorca? Something with a cocktail umbrella in it, no doubt.
It's a pina colada. It's a pina colada, isn't it? That's what all real rough men, real tough. Rock hard Northerners drink into it. Do you know what, Gav? I like a bit of everything. I'm a lager man. I love a Guinness. Love a red wine. Love a gin and tonic.
Sounds like a Chumbawamba song.
I tell you what I do like.
Sounds like a headache.
Tell you what I do like.
Mixing all that.
I love a baby Guinness. Love a baby Guinness. I can fire them down like no tomorrow.
I like pop, like a little bit of pop. Sylvain, you'll be on the sparkling water, no doubt. Yeah.
No, it'd be a gin and tonic for me. On a holiday, I love a gin and tonic. Yeah, it's refreshing, nice, especially the Spanish ones. The Spanish ones are quite effective. It's literally like a fishbowl.
Is he waiting for me? Is he waiting for me to stop him here? Am I supposed to say something? He's still going. He's still going.
Oh, the bottle is empty now. It's like the glass is bigger than the bottle. So yeah. Those are quite nice.
Yeah, they're terrible, aren't they? Don't drink, kids, if you're listening. It is bad for you. Right, we have got some questions to get through. All these people have got in touch with us at Gas It Out Pod on Instagram. They've sent us DMs on there, or there have been comments underneath our YouTube videos. We love to hear your comments. There have been lots of critical ones recently, which I love to read as well. They are entertaining. I enjoy them. look, I know there were a lot of people who were talking about the Saxon Ring. We really like going to the Saxon Ring. Neil had a bad day, okay? He had a bad day, but it hasn't provided. Basically, a lot of people were saying, Neil, a lot of people were, listen, let me finish.
Everyone watch the races, though?
I know, this is what I was going to say. But what they were saying was, you weren't saying that when Marquez came back from 13th and finished in second place, passing everyone on his way up to second place a couple of years ago in 2024. You weren't saying it then, were you, Neil?
No, and that's why all we do is talk about Marc Marquez, and people get so angry because he's able to do that. That's what makes him so special. That's why we love him. That's why we talk about him all the time.
That's why you love him.
But then no one else is that special. So because there's no one else that special, if Marc Marquez starts at the front, no one can pass people. It's really boring. The racetrack's boring. Moto 2 was boring. Moto 3 with the last lap was good. I know I'm right.
You're boring.
You're boring.
On Instagram and YouTube. Let us know what you think. We love it. The more vitriolic, the better. Right. I mentioned before we had questions about 850cc bikes. Rhys Davis got in touch with us. And I like this. I think a few people asking it. I think Formula One has worried people because of certain things that you see when you change the capacity of the bikes. With the new 850s coming in next year, will they still sound as loud and as good? I'm going to start with you, Sylvain, on that one, potentially. You rode the 800cc's actually in MotoGP. But what are your thoughts, first of all, on that question from Rhys?
They're going to sound the same. They're going to be very similar because the reduction in CC from 1000 to 850 is also coming with a reduction in like a proportional reduction in the bore of the engine. So that means they're going to be revving at a similar amount as the thousands. It's going to be close. Effectively, it's just like it's going to be like a mini 1000. Just downscaled a little bit, and then the noise regulation, I believe, is going to be exactly the same. At the moment, it's 130 decibels at 5,500 RPM, something like that. So basically, bloody loud. And
that's a jumbo jet.
It's
that is a jet
same.
flying over. I think at 100. I can't remember what it might be. Anyway, it's a jumbo jet flying over.
And that's at 5,500 RPM. That's exactly. Not even idle. You got to remember these bikes rev to about almost 18,000. So at full rev, full gas, it's loud. So and it's going to remain loud. So it'll be the same. They're going to stay with the V4s, and so nothing changes there. The exhausts are still going to be similar. So same noise, same feeling, and same sort of vibration that you get. It's funny because if you talk to people that have never actually been to the track and heard them, you can't appreciate how loud they are. I mean, those things are it's just insane, isn't it? How loud they are. They're just your whole body is vibrating, and we're going to keep that. And it's true that when F1 went away from the V10s, it was a bit. I mean, when they went to the V6, that noise was just boring, isn't it? The noise is part of the experience massively, and so we're gonna keep that, which is good news.
They're too loud, Neil. That's often Neil said it so many times.
I knew you were going to say that. It's different. Obviously, we work in the paddock, so when we're up and down pit lane and you're wandering around and we're doing features at the side of the track, you're like, oh my god, it is too loud. But I totally get that it's a part of the experience.
Yeah,
I've never met anyone who says actually it's too loud, apart from the people that work in the paddock. And the majority of them are deaf or got tinnitus. It's quite funny. It's true, though.
Yeah. The amount of people with hearing aids.
You speak to the older mechanics and you're just like... And sometimes I'll be in pit lane with my earpieces in, and I'll look and I'll see a mechanic there warming a bike up, and he's not even got earplugs in, and you're just like, wow. But obviously the damage is already there. It's like one of the older mechanics. So, but yeah, they're going to sound the same.
The only thing I'd add to that is... The only thing I'd add to that is if you do go to the track with your kids, it's quite a good idea to have ear defenders, for little ones. Yeah. I think that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, because
I say it to grown-ups as well. I always say, just take your earplugs.
Bring some earplugs.
No, but like even when, like a lot of people now go to music festivals, don't they? And when you're down front in a music festival, you've got a whole weekend of it. and you're already deafened by the first day, I actually do recommend like those loop ear plugs that you put in your ears that you can still hear everything, but just brings it down a notch because
God, we're so old.
We are
God,
so
we
old.
are so
I hate
old.
myself. I hate myself.
Oh my God, I hate you, Gav.
Oh my God.
Gav, I hate
as soon
you.
as
I can just
Sylvain
picture
started
Gav
going
now.
on about bore, I just thought about myself.
You're such a bore, Gav. You're such a bore.
Can you picture Gav at the music festival with his earplugs in?
I've done it.
Oh,
Yes.
I've done it.
This is
I
great.
go
I
to
can
a
see you
festival
doing it.
every year. I'm going to one this weekend, and I know that I'll have earplugs in at some point. Oh God! But it's because there's one frequency that doesn't work for me anymore, pretty much. And
Yeah,
it's the
your
one,
voice doesn't work for us, but we have to
that's
listen
probably a
to it.
good
That
thing. It's the one
frequency.
actually. When Kate's asking me to do something around the house, that's the frequency that doesn't work.
I can hear her now. She wants the top back, Gav. She's going, give me my
There's
polo
palm trees
back.
on it though. This is my summer top.
Yeah, it's great. Kate will look good in that, not you. Anyway, go on. Next question.
Right. Next question. Right. We were talking before about Fabio Quartararo moving away from Yamaha to Honda. We had a couple of come in over the last few weeks. First of all, there's one from Stefan Medici, and he asked about Ayagura still needing to improve on his qualifying. If that was the final piece missing from his game, there was a lot of talk there about, it looks like he's starting to get a bit of consistency going. He's starting to get it now in terms of the qualifying. Another one came in to us directly at Instagram. Wawa Dan said, just wondering why Ayagura would want to leave Trackhouse to go to Yamaha when Trackhouse are outperforming the Yamahas. Is it money, factory backing? So I sort of think they come from a similar sort of thing. Ayagura, first of all, Neil, looks like he's the real deal. Has he sorted qualifying out? Is that now what we're going to see for the remaining 11 rounds? And
yeah, I think,
if it is, then how much you would be regretting his move to Yamaha?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely, it looks like he's sorted his qualifying now. I don't think it's still not a strong point for him, but it's not a huge weak point. So I think that area is only going to improve, and that comes with experience. He's only in his second year on a MotoGP bike, and actually, when you do a qualifying lap, it's a strange experience. You ride over your.
What's the difference there? Go on, you've been in there.
Yeah.
What is that? What is the barrier you have to get past?
Essentially, you ride to your limit and slightly over it, and that is really hard to do on a time attack situation. Go out of the pits. Obviously, you go out for essentially your sighting lap, and then you pull the pin. And to be so precise, so aggressive, take more risk. It does take a lot of doing because, stating the obvious, these machines will hurt you. They are violent, and they are so much harder to be that precise on. So that is just a piece of the jigsaw. That is just with experience. It takes time. There's not many people can shortcut it unless you're really, really brave. So I think he's sort of that. And with regards to will he regret signing for Yamaha, you'd probably have to say yes and no. The yes is I can't see Yamaha making a huge. I can't see them making the step they need to make next year. I think they'll make a huge step. They need to, but I can't see them making it all the way where they've got the equal machinery against everybody else. So Ayagura is going to regret that, but financially, it's a huge difference. And also, he's Japanese. He's riding for a Japanese manufacturer, and he's getting in basically at ground level when they're developing their 850. And hopefully, obviously, he's going to be the youngest rider. So hopefully, he can help that development. And it's the start of a long-term relationship that'll last maybe 3 contracts. So we'll get 6 years out of it. And if you are 6 years riding for a factory, 2 things at the end of that 6 years is going to happen. You're going to potentially have a chance to fight for a world championship. Because if you look at the history of racing, motorcycle racing, Yamaha usually figure it out. And 2, you'll have set yourself up for the rest of your life. Financially, you'll be secure for the rest of your life. So I think short term, he'll regret it probably with results. Long term, with what I've said, I don't think he'll regret it at all.
But he won't be doing it for money, will he? I don't see Ayagura at this stage of his career thinking about money already, is it? It's got to be a certain amount of Japanese prestige in that, hasn't there, as well?
I think so. I don't think he's just doing it for, no, it's not just money. There's certain points of your career you have to think, right, hang on a minute, I need to, it's like, right, what's going to be the best bike? But financially, I've probably got 3 years left in
Alex
me.
Marquez maybe, or Fabio Di Giannantonio.
Exactly. that sort of thing. But when your eyes age, you're looking at opportunity. But you're right, Gav. The prestige of being a Japanese rider, riding for Yamaha, that's huge. And we can't sort of overlook that. What that means to him personally, being Japanese.
Because Yamaha, in the past, way back, I'm thinking of your Arbes and Hagas. It's not really, though, been... Honda have been always the one who've had the Japanese rider, haven't you? If you think about it over the years, whether it be with your Okadas, your Katos, your Okawas, Okawa's, being fantastic. It was always Honda who felt like they needed to put a Japanese rider in there. I suppose Yamaha always had limited bikes with which to work with. You know what I'm finding interesting, Sylvain, is the crash stats for Aprilia. Just looking, I was thinking then about consistency and crashing and going beyond your limit. Looking at the crash stats is pretty fascinating for Aprilia. They are the full range of worst. Jorge Martin has had 16 crashes on the Aprilia to this stage of the season. Marco Bezzecchi's had 12. Iagura has had 5. How many's Raul Fernandez had this year?
Don't know.
I'm going to say
I can't really see him
2.
on the floor. I can't picture it.
He's had 2 crashes.
He's
all
not crashed
year.
at all, has he?
One of those was a collision with Jorge Martin.
No, right, yeah.
That's
impressive,
incredible, isn't it? When you think about where Jorge Martin is, 16.
Is that the least? Is 2 the least for a full-time rider? I
pretty much, the full-time rider. So he had 2.
Marini last year he spent the whole season and without crashing, did he? And then he
I thought he crashed. I'm sure he crashed once. Sylvain, I'm sure.
Yeah, he crashed once at the end, towards the end. Okay, but he spent. Do you remember his only crash was
he had 3 last year
Tower
in the end.
Test
he had 3 last year in the end, did Luca? Because he went on a run, didn't he? He hadn't crashed until really late on. And then
he went on a run. Back-to-back crashes. Here he is.
That's it. That is the lowest, by the way. That is the lowest in the championship. Obviously, likes of Savadori's had 1 or all that, but Cal Crutchow's had 3. As a stand-in rider. Why are we talking about a bike here, the Aprilia, which looks unstable? At certain points, it looks like that's one of its areas, and yet Fernandez has I have to say that's fairly impressive.
It shows you the crashes are mainly down, and this crashes stat is mainly down to the rider, isn't it? It's the rider that controls how much risk he takes and understands where the limit is, and the whole mental approach. Crashes is it's the mental approach of things. How far are you willing to go, and how fiery are you? How well do you understand why you're crashing, and how well can you analyze that and sort of notch it down a little bit where it needs to be. And it shows you as well, again, how much of a good job Trackhouse is doing with both of the riders, giving them feel, giving them confidence, but not overconfidence, and keeping them leveled because crashing so much is also a sign of, stress and a sign of that is something not quite right, or can be. And with Trackhouse, it's they've been, the last few rounds, they've been dominating the whole thing. They've been dominating the Aprilia factory team, but the whole of MotoGP, really. They are so strong, both of them. They're not making many mistakes. They're putting all the blocks together and keep getting better and improving on their weaknesses, like we've seen with Argura recently with his qualifying. And Raul Fernandez is becoming more consistent now, and that's triggered what we think is not been announced, but the fact that he's going to stay at Trackhouse next year. And so,
how many times? Going off on one. How many times has Top Rack crashed? Because remember in Superbike, Sylvain, 6, right? In Superbikes,
so that's still low.
Like in 2 seasons,
he would never crash.
Did he crash once in 2 seasons or something like that?
Yeah, his first season with BMW, he crashed once, didn't he? When he was world champion his first season, and and when you saw how much of the limit he was, it was quite shocking. Do you remember when you first said it? I think, Neil, we were talking about it, and you said, "Have you seen the stats of Toprak? He's crashed once in a whole year," and I was like, I didn't even realize that. Because when you see him riding, you'd expect him to crash every 5 corners. Yeah. The way he was riding bike.
Just on that then,
full control.
Sylvain, do you think we'll see, I'm just thinking of Top Rack, do you think we'll see him ride a little bit more like that next year with the Pirellis, a little bit looser. Because if you think of, I know we don't see a lot of him. Obviously, we don't see a lot of him because he's not up at the front. He's on the Yamaha. He's in his first year. The bits we have seen of him, he doesn't look like anything like the rider in Superbikes, the way he would achieve a lap time. So you think we'll see more of? Yeah, you think we'll see more of that?
Yes.
On the limit riding.
Yeah, more that style, more of his natural style. The problem, and we talked about that at the end of last year when it was announced that Toprak was going to come to MotoGP and ride the Yamaha with the Michelin tires, and we did say then when we discussed it that it was going to be really hard for Toprak to replicate his sort of super talent, the way that he was able to make that time in the braking zones and do something different to the other riders. It was going to be super difficult to replicate that with the Michelin tires and the GP spec bikes, because nobody does it, and it does not work. Like overriding the bike in the braking zones in MotoGP does not work because the front tire can't take it. You can't prepare your corner speed, which with MotoGP is greater, and you're compromising your corner exit. So he's had to dial things back in and ride the way the MotoGP bikes needs to be ridden, which is not his natural style. So yeah, I agree with you, Neil. Next year with the Pirellis and a more natural bike without the ride divide stuff, he will be more competitive. Then again, the question mark there is how good will the Yamaha 850 will be, but that we don't know. But Toprak will ride it better. He will be able to get that Pirelli feeling again that he likes. It suits him naturally.
I've got a question that came in from Jams O'Donnell. That's a little bit about this, about consistency. Has modern MotoGP become more about outright speed than consistency? Joan Mir won the title with just one victory. Could a rider still win the title like that? And then he went on to basically say he feels like sprint races mean riders have to be on it from the moment, from the off, straight away in a race weekend, and that just then one mistake like maybe Bezecchi's had at the start of the weekend, you miss out on a whole host of points because you get extra points for the sprint, that kind of thing. I don't know, what are your thoughts on that? Because Jorge Martin has actually, I think he's top of the championship because of his consistency at the moment. What do you think on that? I still think consistency, I don't think you can have a Joan Mir again. Not with the current situation where there's lots of people.
No, I think, sorry, Gav,
what
appears to happen, again, we've done this job for a long time. We've been in the paddock, we've watched a lot of championships. Every now and again, and I don't know what let's say the ratio is, maybe once every 10 years, there is a 2020 season. That was COVID as well, so there were fewer races. And we always say it, we've said it in other classes, it feels like this year nobody wants to win the championship. We've said that before, haven't we? And that happens occasionally. And as it's turned out, it's actually happening this year in MotoGP. Thank God that Marc Marquez started the season not fit. Obviously, we didn't know that at the time. We knew he was recovering from his crash from Indonesia. We didn't know he got the other issue with the screws and the nerve and all that. And because of that fact, it's created one of those seasons. We're now at the halfway point, and it's the closest in the history of the modern era of MotoGP, the closest top five, which...
Yeah, after 11 rounds, 24 points is just remarkable, isn't it?
Incredible, isn't it? And it bodes really well for the second half of the season. And I know, like I said, I mentioned it, but a lot of that is down to the favourite, the main man that everyone had the money on, start of the season, not quite as fit as we thought. But the bad news is for everybody, by the time we see him at Silverstone and then at Aragon 2 weeks after that, he'll be 10% fitter, and you feel like he's going to grab this championship by the scruff of his neck and win by a few rounds. That's everyone's general feeling in the paddock.
Well, thanks for that. Everyone's on holiday, hoping to, enjoy themselves, have a nice smile on their face, and the harbinger of doom's turned up to say, don't bother watching the second half of the season. I don't believe that, ladies and gentlemen. I still think it's game on. I think but some of the best years that the championship have seen have been these kinds of years. 2006, Nicky Hayden, won a couple of races, but in the end wins out because consistency. You think of other years that he's happened, 2020 being one, 2016 it was one, 2015 even, it felt like there's times no one wants to win it. Not necessarily the rider who wins the most comes out on top at the end of the championship. So let's hope that we get that as the season goes on. We're going to take another breather. But when we come back, we have got more questions from you. We had loads of. We're not going to have time to get through them all. We're already 3/4 of an hour through this podcast.
You can quick fire them. We can quick fire them anyway. Just quick
fire when we come back from the break. Right, we're back again. We've got some questions. I said we'd go quick fire. I feel like I've set up questions here though that people have put in, or comments that people have made, and I sort of think I've sort of done it to open up debates. But see if you can get through this. Right, Anuma6217. Thank you so much for your question. If you could put one retired rider on a current MotoGP bike, thinking of Cal Crutchlow, obviously, having come in and done the work. And he's going to be at Silverstone, by the way, that's been announced. So there will be a British rider in the British Grand Prix at Silverstone at the start of August. If you could choose another retired rider, though, to put on a current MotoGP bike, who would it be? Neil, I'll start with you.
Casey Stoner, 100%.
If Casey stole you stole it from me. I was going to say the same.
Were you going to say that? If Casey Stoner was fit, let's say healthy, and wanted to do it, we know him well enough. Jesus Christ, that man is a machine. He's so single-minded, got so much self-confidence in a not an arrogant way. I know some people don't like him, but wow. I would pay a lot of money to watch him ride a modern day MotoGP bike. Sylvain,
same.
Well, I was going to say Casey as well, because for all the reason that Neil just said, and I think there's a lot of people that will feel like that because he retired so early as well. Because obviously the health,
he was 27.
Healthy.
I mean, it's like so young, 27 years old.
So young, still at the top, not hurt physically too much. I think he did break a scaphoid, or he didn't have many injuries, so he was still at the top of his game. Well, if I've got to pick somebody else, I'd say I'd still like to see Dani Pedrosa back, especially with the different bikes next year. I think he could still be competitive, Dani, because Dani as well. To me, because he never won the title in the main category in MotoGP, and I felt like he has deserved it. Some years he was so close. And he had it in him. He was a very, very special rider, Dani.
Hey, I'll tell you, be good, Sylvain, as well. Just for the paddock, Lorenzo. Let's get Lorenzo back. Because like the way his presence in the paddock is brilliant, because strong personality, not afraid to say something, a beautiful amount of arrogance, you know what I mean, and self-belief. Very interesting from our perspective. I'd love to see Lorenzo back.
I'd go for Kevin Schwantz. Let's do that. Let's go for a Kevin Schwantz as someone, to get him on. We just love Kevin anyway, don't we? So that'd be, I think it'd be fantastic to see him let loose on one of these MotoGP bikes. Right. More questions that we've got. There's from Jack Dunn here. This one, actually. Thank you, Jack. I think Pedro Acosta is KTM's best chance of winning a rider's title. I can't see them winning it without him on the bike. I'd love to know your thoughts. Are KTM letting one slip through their fingers here? Is there anything they could have done about it, actually, Neil?
Yeah. No, there's absolutely nothing they could have done about it. That was signed, sealed and done before the start of the season. Do you know what would be really interesting? We know Pedro's moving to Ducati. I'm always intrigued. I wonder when the first conversation happened, and I wonder what that looked like. Is that Gigi Dall'Igna going to Pedro's manager? Is that Pedro himself
3 years ago? 3 years ago, before he signed his second deal with KTM.
Yeah. But how interesting just to see how it manifested itself. Because you know what Pedro's like? Pedro's so ballsy and a straight talker. I can see Pedro going up to Gigi going, you need me on your bike. You need me on. Can you imagine him saying that? I can. So,
but I think knowing Gigi Dall'Igna and Pedro's character, we don't know Pedro like very well, like as in like close. But knowing Gigi, I would say it's 99% Gigi that came to Pedro and said, I want you on my bike. He would have looked at him straight in the eyes and said to Pedro, you are a very special talent. We've got the best bike and I want you on my bike. And I think that...
Hey, what a feeling,
that's how it would have gone.
Imagine having that.
Hey?
Imagine having Gigi coming up to you saying that. You'd be a little bit excited, wouldn't you?
Well, you are, because he's the man, the main man, the man that produced the best bike on the grid. Well, for many years now, obviously there's some competition for TG with the Aprilia, but yeah, it would have gone something like that, because he is like that. He's a straightforward person as well. He when he was in charge at Aprilia for the World Superbike program, that's what he did to me. He came to see me at the end of the year, and he said to me, Max is going to retire, very likely, 99%. And if he does, I want you on my bike, because I've done well at the end of that season. And when he said that to me, looking at me in the eyes, I was like, bloody hell, this is like, you feel like this is big. This is, and you can't help but it makes you want it so bad. It makes you feel like it makes you feel valued. It makes you feel like you've got to deliver. It makes you feel like a full factory rider with the best man in your corner. So
yeah, I wonder, Neil, when you signed, for example, and to take it over from Troy Bayliss, did you have that kind of conversation come from Davide Tardozzi? Does it come in and do they say that sort of, will he have even said, do you reckon, Gigi to Pedro, who knows how long Mark's going to last? Would he be
100%.
talking down his other rider?
100%. 100%. In a professional way, but literally what you've just said, just saying, look, we know you're the future. Like Matty, because he is. You can't say he's not, can you? No one knows how long Mark Marquez is going to go on for. Knowing Mark, he'll probably end up doing another 4 years or something crazy if 27 goes well. But if it doesn't go well, we know he'll retire. And then who's in pole position? Well, Pedro Acosta. So, yeah, that's how it works. But, yeah, from my point of view, like Sylvain's, it was Davide Tardozzi coming over to me, looking me in my eyes halfway through the season before. And that first conversation, it gave me goosebumps. It was like the best and worst conversation at the same time, because he basically said, we want you, but you have to win the World Championship. And he was just so matter of fact, like he was just ordering some food. And when he said it, it instantly just made me feel fantastic. But then the weight of, wow, I could feel the pressure, instant pressure, like, wow, I have to deliver. So, yeah, I can remember that like it was yesterday. And I'm sure you're the same, Sylvain, with yours, with Gigi.
Yeah, same thing. He went to see me. He was in the paddock in Manicourt at the end of the race. And fortunately, I'd not had a beer yet, because it was after the races on a Sunday night, and I had some mates over as well. And he came he sent me a message, then came to my motorhome and said that, and I was like, whoa, this is big. And then I had to wait. Literally, it was 2 months before Max sort of announced his retirement, and you can imagine the stress.
It's not like Max. It's not like Max, just to really stretch it out. You know what he's like.
I was waking up in the night to check all the websites to see if there was any news of Max retiring.
Playing on with his fingertips.
I was refreshing the internet browser every hour, just to check if there's more news.
Did they have
on
the
Twitter,
internet then? Did they have it
permanently? Yeah, it was the start. When it used to beep when you're connecting. It used to do like all kind of buzzing noise. That's it.
Charlie says, always tell your mum before you go outside. Is that what you do? Right, I had a question here from Tim Hosker. Which current MotoGP rider would make the best TV pundit after retirement?
I've got one there, good one. He'd be bloody brilliant, Jack Miller. Yeah. Imagine Jack as a pundit. He would be...
I want to be his producer. I want to be a producer. Jack, we cannot swear. We are not allowed.
Oh, bollocks.
You'd have to have a chat before.
He'd be fantastic, I think. I'd love to listen to him.
Yeah, I think Jack's got
Who
to
do you reckon, Sylvain?
Yeah, 100% agree. I think he'll be a full. Well, he's a full character, isn't he? And that's exactly. That's
what you need
on TV as well.
Mark could be good.
He'll come across really nice as well, because he's a great guy.
I was gonna say Mark,
but you couldn't say Mark because we were just giving you so much. You would not have lived it down.
He would be a good one though, Gav.
I think he would. I just think he would.
You're egging me on here. You are. You're trying to make me look stupid.
People in his position like that, who've won everything, can say what they want. Can say, like, Jorge Lorenzo's a good pundit, right? He's won everything because he actually just says what he wants, and people can't come back and go, "What have you ever done?"
Yeah,
and
like
he
they did
says
with
a
me.
lot. Jorge,
I get that all the time.
say-
You were shit. Well, I haven't got that far. Hang on a minute, I haven't got that far.
But Jorge says some controversial things, doesn't he? He's got a different way of looking at things, but people can't say anything about it. I quite like it. And that'd be Mark. Right. A quick fire, remember. Which rider surprised you most this season, under and overachieving?
Well, Algura for sure, overachieving. Algura. Well, yeah, I don't think we expected him to be that good, and he's now. Well, we're talking about him having a chance at winning a title. He's putting a title effort together, which is amazing. So overachieving 100%. Underachieving, I would say, I'm not too sure. I think
probably Mia.
You know what's weird?
To be still
the first name that came to mind. The first name that came to my mind, underachieving, is leading the World Championship. Jorge Martin, for me, did not do as much as I thought he was going to do. No, I mean, for real, I thought he was going to win more. I thought he was going to be on top of Bezzecchi. I thought he wasn't going to crash that much.
That is the funniest line I've ever heard.
But he's leading the championship.
I get
it's
what
the
he's
first
saying.
name that came to mind.
It's the first name that came
to mind. Do you?
That's funny, isn't it? But I sort of see where you're coming from. It hasn't been like he's gone out and got pole every week and won every week. There's been good days, there's been bad days, there's been more crashes than anybody else. Yeah, he is leading the World Championship at the halfway point.
Honestly,
I bet
Sylvain,
he's having a good holiday. I bet he is having a right old holiday.
He must be so disappointed with himself, Sylvain. He's really let himself down. Every morning when he wakes up on his boat, wherever it is, in the Med, and looks at the championship
beautiful girlfriend
standings,
alongside him. Looking at the.
Well, we're not talking about doing well or doing bad. We're talking about overachieving and underachieving. I do genuinely feel like he's got this first half of season. Yeah, he's leading the championship. But he had a chance to be leading it by so much more because
all right,
he's fit. He got away with not getting hurt in the crashes. Mark Marquez has been on the back foot since the start of the year. His teammate keeps throwing it down the road or slapping marshals and getting penalties. And there was a real chance for him to capitalize on that.
Okay, right. Well, I raise your Jorge Martin's underachieving by I think Mark Marquez is underachieving. I can't believe he's even allowed this to happen. He's so much better than them all. He's so underachieving.
He's got an excuse. He was hurt. So that's different, isn't it? He couldn't do anything about it for that start of the season. He could see that he was, he was doing what he could. But anyway, I don't know why that Jorge Martin came to mind like that.
That's funny. I like that.
And then I thought, I can't say it. I thought I can't say it because he's leading the championship. But then
wait till I see him in the paddock at Silverstone. I'm going to go straight up to him like a little grass, like one of them Argentinian football players.
Do you know what Gunther said? Yeah.
I'm going to go, you're not going to believe what Sylvain said on the podcast, saying you've underperformed this year.
And he did it with his hand over his mouth.
Yeah, he went like that.
Yeah, go like that.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That's funny.
What was that about, by the way? What the hell was that about?
Dude.
What a disgrace. What a
horrendous
advert for
tactics,
sportsmanship.
I think the strategy and tactics, and then, for sportsmanship, you're absolutely right. But the whole event
Gav,
as well.
As a huge football supporter, Gav, what did you think of it? Were you just like, is this really, are they this bad?
Do you know, but I think it was a strategy. It's a tactic. It's like, look, we know we're not as much cop, so we've got to resort to something, our way of getting us, and it worked against England, obviously.
Yeah.
It worked. So then they try it again. But I was trying to put it back onto MotoGP, and we have seen, we talked about it on the pod, didn't we? We've seen it a bit more where I feel like because the stewards are getting hotter on things, and
a bit more proactive.
Crayfar about it, that they're willing to punish things a bit more. That you do feel there are times where the histrionics become that little bit more than they actually are. And you see people hand waving. It came out of that Aleix Espargaro school of people, and being really remonstrating really heavily with people about stuff just because you want to make sure it gets on camera. And I've heard of riders going up and actually, you'll know it. team managers do go and speak to the stewards, don't they? They do. They go up and they say, "Hey, have you seen that?" It's that sportsmanship edge. I think people value that so much in sport, and I think in a World Cup like we've seen, people really, it matters to people. Integrity, sporting integrity, that sort of thing still matters to people. That's the intrinsic part of sport, is playing by the rules.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Being fair,
I couldn't agree
does
more.
matter a lot. And if you break that, you're breaking your whole model, your whole sort of your whole image about your sport. If you break the fairness, you're destroying your sport. So this was not a good look, was it? I mean, I'm not a lot into football, but I thought, wow, that was horrendous.
Did you see them when Spain got the trophy and the players just had their backs to them? Right to the end, you got absolutely outplayed. It was clear that you were no match for them. You tried your dirty tricks; it didn't work. You even clotheslining the players running on to celebrate winning the World Cup, and then we stand with our backs to not watch them lift the trophy. Just, let's talk about slow clap them in. Like what? Like you've. Like you say, everything we love about sport. Flicking it back to MotoGP, everything you just said there, Gav, you're so right. We've seen it slowly creep into our sport. And you're right, the stewards are being more proactive. They're well aware. They're trying to see people riding slow in qualifying and all this sort of stuff. What will be interesting is, and this will happen because we know Simon Crafer, the chief steward, we know him well enough. Eventually, somebody will remonstrate to a point. And it is like trying to get someone sent off and they've done nothing wrong. And he'll penalise the person for that remonstration. How good will that be? And that'd be quite a nice... Yeah. It'd be a nice, it's a line drawn in the sand of, whoa, hang on a minute. We're well aware that you're on a good lap and that guy's on the racetrack as well. But he has not even slightly impeded you. He's done everything in his power to get out of your way. And you're doing all this.
There was a couple of Max Keeles, wasn't there, actually?
Yeah, early on in the year, I look forward to that day when that happens, because it will happen.
Yeah, it will. Right, that's all the questions we've got time for. We have got more to get through. I do apologise if we haven't been able to get... We talk too much. Occupational hazard, but we do. Right, lads, I'm going to leave you to get back to your respective beaches and hopefully enjoy a little bit more holiday. We'll be back soon and we'll be discussing all things MotoGP. Anything to add, chaps, for everyone at home?
No. Have a good holiday, everybody.
So, have a good holiday.
Yeah.
Enjoy your time.
Hopefully
we're back with a quiz. I want to have a quiz. I want to put these through their paces next time, okay? Who likes the sound of that? Let us know.
Good.
At Gas It Out Pod, I remind you, is our handle on Instagram and on YouTube also. We do love your comments. We try and get back to you when we can, but we're busy. Got busy lives to sort out. Sylvain's got loads of kids to sort out. Neil's got a golf handicap to improve, and I'm just useless. Yeah, that's all I've got for you. Right, chaps, thanks very much for the show. Thanks to you for listening at home. Leave us a like, leave us a subscribe, send us your questions, and we'll be back with you very soon. In the meantime, if in doubt, gas it out.